What is up, everyone? Barricade here. I'm bringing you guys another episode of Gears of War lore, talking about Rise of RAAM number 4. And holy crap, this chapter was crazy as hell. I'm just saying that right off the bat. Like, there's only one really bad thing about the chapter, and that's the fact that it felt really short. And that's because of the fact that it was mostly action, very little talking, and it was kind of morely just watching and like reading, like going through the panels and not really actually talking or really any dialogue. Really, it was just kind of more action than anything. But it still was a good ass chapter. And holy crap, let's start from the beginning here. And this part kind of hit me hard. I was honestly going no, like over and over a bunch of times while reading it, because it just it's so fucked up. Okay, so basically what we see here is an old man who's retiring from the army. It's shortly after the COG beat the UIR, and we see this old man who's pretty much retiring from the army. He's done. You know, the war is over. He doesn't need to be a soldier anymore. He's happy. He's happy to leave it the way it is. Crazy part is this old man is a Carmine. Some form of Carmine. I don't believe he's definitely not the father of the characters we see in the games, because I'll explain that in a second. He's definitely not the father of them, but he's definitely related to them in some way. I'm thinking maybe like an uncle or something like that. And basically what happens here is we see him, he's retiring, he talks to his old buddy that handles all the weaponry, and he basically just kind of makes a little joke about how the weapon's busted up, but, you know, just get rid of it. I don't need to be in the army anymore. It's over. And the way I know that he's not their father, you know, like Anthony or Ben's or Clay's father, is he says right here, he says, "I fought under the command of my father, who reported to my grandfather. Hell, I was starting to believe I'd have to send my kids to war. Probably why I never had none." So he's basically saying he never had kids, but he thinks that if he ever did, he was going to be worried about the fact that he might have to send them to war. So he's definitely not their father. I'm thinking like an uncle or something along their lines, because he couldn't definitely be their grandfather either, because that wouldn't make sense. So he has to be like an uncle or a cousin or something like that. And then we just have a little bit of dialogue of him talking about what he's going to do after the war. And he's happy. He's done. He's retired, basically, at this point. And out of nowhere, an a-hole opens up. And a huge amount of locusts come out of nowhere with the corpser slaughtering people. And he tries to fight the corpser. He tells the guy that handles weaponry, "Give me a weapon. Give me a fucking gun," in his words. And he tries to shoot the corpser. And him and that other soldier are kind of just working together for a little bit. The soldier gets slaughtered by the corpser. And then when he tries to fight the locust, unfortunately the person that he runs into, the locust, is RAAM. And RAAM kills him. So unfortunately we got to see a Carmine for once without a helmet. So it kind of gives us at least a little of idea of what the Carmines would look like. I mean, this is an older man, so we didn't get to really see like what color his hair truly was. He's an older man, so we don't know if he was originally blonde, had black hair, or anything like that. But at least we had a small idea of what Carmines look like without a helmet. And unfortunately, he died very quickly. Just kind of a little bit of a paying of an homage to the Carmine luck. So it's kind of saddening and kind of made me a little pissed off a little bit, because I was hoping he would, you know, survive and kind of maybe do something badass, but nope, RAAM did him dirty. Anyways, next part we see is just Scorch says something kind of interesting here, is basically that he can predict when RAAM is going to die, or at the very least predict that he is going to die in battle. And they kind of have a little bit of a small dialogue here saying that when I die, RAAM says, "When I die, you know, you're going to be the one to take over." And he kind of just has a little bit of dialogue talking to the locust, saying, you know, we're just going to kill people. That's pretty much the whole point of this. We're just going to murder everybody. And we see some crazy battles between the COG and the locust. And it kind of just leads up to one major point in the comic where we get to see the final battle between RAAM and Shrock. But before we see that, though, one thing I did want to point out, there was one kind of funny part where RAAM is slaughtering COG soldiers, and then you see a bullet barely graze his face, like it barely missed him. And we see a poor little soldier, kind of reminds me of a Carmine, and he's just standing there in fear, and RAAM throws a freaking sword or knife, whatever you want to call it, through his head. So RAAM just horribly destroyed that guy. And then right after that, of course, we get into the battle with Shrock. Shrock is pissed off because, like I said before, Shrock is totally against the idea of RAAM attacking the surface. He wants everyone to stay in and fight the Lambent, and if it turns out that, you know, they die, then they die. It's for honor and things like that. But RAAM and Scourge don't believe in that. They think that's a stupid idea, and they just, you know, they want to live in the old ways that don't make sense and just, let's just do this. Let's attack the surface and survive. Let's fight to survive instead of just sitting there and just fighting a pointless war and dying. You know, they want to survive. They're fighting to survive at this point, and they're breaking old tradition and things like that. And then so they're fighting. Shrock is, you know, proving that once again he's stronger than RAAM. RAAM can't really do anything against him, but RAAM actually had a smart idea to, while they were fighting, he had a few Theron guards wait for Shrock with torque bows, of course, and basically double torque him. It blows up his body, and then to finish him off, RAAM rips his heart out, literally, and holds it above his head, and basically kind of showing, you know, he's dead, we won, and now we're gonna attack the surface. I am the leader now. Shrock is dead. Forget about him. We're doing this type of thing. And it just kind of just shows that, and the comic basically just ends with RAAM attacking the surface. It shows a huge battle ensuing. And just this whole chapter was pretty damn cool. It felt short because most of the pages were just kind of morely just sound effects, like boom and stuff like that, just showing like people getting stabbed and shot and stuff like that. So it was very, very little dialogue in this chapter. So honestly, I read it within literally like a few minutes. I was just sitting there like, what? It's over? Like, I wanted to see more. But overall, it was a pretty badass chapter. And honestly, it felt like a really cool add-on to the Gears of War storyline. I really liked it a lot. It felt like something you would see in a game. You know, it felt like almost like a comic book version of like a cutscene or something. And it was really, really badass. But honestly, I just want to say, fuck, man. They did Carmine dirty in that one, man. Poor Carmine. Every single Carmine always gets screwed over by a Locust. The only one that survived was Clay. He's the only one that freaking survived. Anthony, Ben, and the so-called fourth Carmine, we never got to see what happened to him. And then Gary is probably dead. We don't know what happened to him, but there's a good chance he's probably dead too. Yeah, I showed them survive after the beginning battle in the Gears of War 4 campaign, but we never got to see if he, you know, got snatched or whatever. So for all we know, Gary's dead too. So overall, it's just kind of like, damn, you know, like, kind of made me feel really bad for the Carmines. But overall, guys, if you guys like this video, please definitely hit that like button and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about Rise of RAAM number 4. Personally, I loved it a lot. I freaking thought it was amazing, and it honestly made me once again sad to see that happen to a Carmine, but it was still interesting to see what a Carmine looked like without a helmet, regardless of the fact that it was an old man. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see any of my other content, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.